recipes for technical trading success in Cook's Kitchen.
Hey everybody, last week we talked about big commerce, the little big shop, and we talked about Shopify. And one thing I profiled for both companies were who were the fund managers who were buying more of these shares in Q3. For big commerce, it was one of the Tiger Cubs, Chase Coleman, I believe. Took a pretty large position, like 1.35 million shares. And then for Shopify, what was so exciting was to see one of my favorite fund managers, Steve Mandel of Lone Pine Capital, managing at least 25 billion, although he stepped back from actively managing the funds, but he made Shopify their largest position at 1.8 billion worth in Q3, ahead of Facebook and Microsoft. So that was nice to see him being aggressive on the growth there. So I got some emails, some calls and stuff, and people wanted to hear about more fund managers. So it's something I used to do, every quarter, 45 days after the end of a quarter. Fund managers are supposed to file their holdings and tell us what they bought, what they sold, that kind of thing. And digging through the SEC website is not fun to verify all that information. So what's great is when you get a service like Whale Wisdom or even NASDAQ.com, we're going to look at that, have an API plugged into the SEC and, do the math for you and put everything in nice tables and, net buying, net selling, that kind of thing. So we'll look at a few of those. So here was a piece I did. This is the big fund manager I want to tell you about, like that nobody's ever heard of, is out of the UK, out of Scotland, in Edinburgh, called Baillie Gifford. And I did this piece back in February, right? Like the top tick in the new bull market highs, right before the Corona crash, where the bulls roam. And I looked at stocks like who owns Tesla, Illumina, Square, Invitae, and the Trade Desk. And I was thrilled to see that one of my favorite big growth fund managers you've never heard of, Baillie Gifford, is buying all of them. And Baillie Gifford has been the largest holder in Tesla. And I think they were the third largest holder in the Trade Desk. If you want to learn more about Baillie Gifford, Vanguard, for their advisors, just did a nice expose. They interviewed two of the managers, and you can see what headline did they want to put on this, discussing their obsession with growth. And that's how you think about Baillie Gifford's approach to long-term investing. I want to show a quote I used in this piece from February 20th. Let's see where I can find it. All right, from Edinburgh, there they are. Oh, so their motto, one of their great short mottos at Baillie Gifford is, actual investors think in decades, not quarters. Something that is hard to remember, easy to forget if you're obsessed with the short-term moves. And yeah, there's a lot of money to be made on short-term moves, but if you look at something like a Tesla, they cashed in big. So when I'm looking at Baillie Gifford back here, in February, and the stuff they own, and I was following them in 4 of these stocks here. I was in Illumina, Square, Invitae, and the Trade Desk, and looking for a chance to get back into Tesla, because they were, they weren't going to sell. Tesla had gone to $1,000, and I thought, hey, if it comes down to 500, let's buy it. Corona crash brings it down to 500, and what do? I blink. So that wasn't too much fun. Our Brian Bolin here, a growth strategist, he pulled the trigger at 420 and has made his people very happy there. So kudos to him. Now, but the most important theme, like this is a video that like you want to watch once a year for the next 10 years of your life, because even though the stocks might change, the one big theme is not going to change. Was Baillie Gifford selling these stocks in March and April during the Corona crash? No, they weren't. They were probably buying more. We're going to see that Baillie Gifford just sold a big chunk of Tesla and took some huge gains. Let's go right to that. So on NASDAQ.com, you can see here, let's see, Baillie Gifford. And this is on NASDAQ.com. This is Tesla, ranked, sorted by shares held. So Capital World Investors is huge, Vanguard, BlackRock. But Baillie Gifford was number one before they just unloaded 24 million shares in Q3, cashing in some major chips for their investors. And probably a lot of that was for long-term gains. So they obviously, for them, it probably became a matter of, not is the Tesla growth story over, but how large a portion of our portfolios is this one stock. And so they had to reduce risk there. And so they had sold 40% of their position. So let's see what else Baillie Gifford has done lately. And this is a little hard to see, but if you go to NASDAQ.com, all I did from looking at a stock and its holders, who bought, who sold, you can click on any fund manager and get a profile of them. And if you scroll down, then you can see, okay, what did they do during Q3? Looks like Baillie Gifford's buying NEO. That's not surprising. Some Tencent, some Cloudflare. They added to Illumina. That is the powerhouse in genomic sequencing machinery and technology. I'd like to see what they're doing with the trade desk. And in fact, what we'll do is we'll just go back to NASDAQ.com. So again, I'm also showing you a process here that's easy for anyone to use. This is all free information that NASDAQ.com provides. So you might as well take advantage of it. And you can find out as soon as 45 days after a quarter's over, you can find out who bought and sold your favorite stocks. And what you want to see are the growth managers who've been there for several quarters, are they still there? So, this is the video I did last week, the little big shop. Oh, I finally got 1,000 views there. Very nice. Thank you, folks. So after you go to NASDAQ.com and you put in a ticker, I'm going to show you how you do this real quick. And you can do this on Whale Wisdom too. Either one is fine. You scroll down, left-hand menu, institutional holdings. And I'm going to make this a little bigger. I had it shrunk down for that page that was hard to see. All right, the trade desk, institutional holdings. This page is still loading. We'll give it a chance. Meanwhile, what else do I want to show you? Oh, you go to the Baillie Gifford website. You can learn a bunch about them. You might have to, click on a few buttons to, so they know who you are and where you're from, and if you're an investor, that kind of thing, since they're in Scotland. But the reason we've never heard of them is they don't, they're not out there talking about themselves like a Vanguard, a State Street. They're just doing their thing, which is what's funny is I think it's still owned by like 35 partners, since it was founded in Edinburgh in 1908. So you definitely learn more about them there. All right, let's see if we've got our trade desk holdings. We still don't. That's all right. Well, we'll keep exploring here. Let's take a look at what the trade desk has done. This is just an amazing thing. Now, if you don't know what the trade desk is, I call them the CME of advertising because they have created a platform to algorithmically trade advertising real estate, on streaming TV, on the web. And what that means is that an advertiser, whether it's Procter & Gamble or Tesla, can specifically design what kind of advertising campaigns they want to run, and what audiences they want to target, what time of day, what countries. And there's auctions thousands of times a day for given real estate for a 30-second ad that might pop up somewhere on the web or YouTube, even streaming television. And so the Trade Desk has created this platform where instead of going through an advertising agency, you can set up a program to automatically buy and deploy your advertising budget. Here's edit. Oh, we should also take a look at BigCommerce, which dropped, and we had a nice dip on the opening that was bought aggressively in a lot of names like Shopify. Here's BigCommerce coming down to like below 72 this morning, and we bought more shares there. So I'm confident this thing's going to be above 90 very soon. But let's take a look at the Trade Desk so you can see the damage that's been done to shorts who didn't understand the valuation here and how this thing was taken over. So, I mean, this is just since June, the thing soared above 300. And then after the last earnings, just blew the doors off. You know, it's been to 900. So just a juggernaut, changing the advertising game outside of the silos of Google and Facebook. The Trade Desk is, you know, agnostic. They're just an exchange. That's why I call them the CME of advertising. They're an exchange for buying and selling advertising, real estate everywhere. All right. Let's see if we've got the goods. No, NASDAQ.com is not loading for me. So unfortunately, we cannot look at who are the biggest holders in the Trade Desk, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure, well, we're going to see if we can dial it in for Baillie Gifford specifically, because I want to see if they sold. Let's see. I will go to decreased positions because that's where this would show up. And, you know, obviously there's Tesla. This is Tesla right here. Selling shares. I do not see the Trade Desk, and they were one of the top holders. So this would show up pretty quick in this list. So that's good to see. Still not loading there. Well, main idea here is follow the growth fund managers. Don't buy everything they buy. And yes, when you get the SEC data, it is 45 days old. Maybe the trade is 90 days old because it was somewhere, you know, in the middle of the quarter. The point is that if the growth managers are continuing to pile into something despite volatility and maybe even because of volatility, there's a good reason. You know, they have a 2, 3, 4, 5-year outlook. Baillie Gifford claims they think in terms of decades, and that is the right way to think of long-term investing. All right, thanks for joining me. We'll talk to you next week.